Welcome to Nerds on the Block. We are trying something new this time. Today we're going to be talking about the Game Awards winners and world premieres. And today to speak about it with me is Shamar. We have
Hello.
And we have Sheldon from It's Toon Time, his YouTube channel. We're going to just jump into it with some of the Game Awards winners. So take it up from the top here, Shamar. Like, what awards do you want to touch on?
So I guess we're going to be taking on Game of the Year, obviously, Best Art Direction, Best Performance, as well as, oh my gosh, I lost my place here.
Game,
But
fighting game, best action game.
yeah, basically all the heavy hitters, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess off the top, Game of the Year, let's just hit the ground running. Again, what were your guys' picks, and how'd you feel about the winner ultimately?
Yeah, you can start us off, Malcolm.
I want to go to Tsushima to win because that was a game that did not have any controversy. There wasn't people debating about the story, about certain characters. Everyone was just blown away at how the PS4 era ended with this Assassin's Creed Samurai Japan game that we always wanted, and we finally got it. Mm-hmm. And even if the story was a little bit weak-ish, it was still strong enough to be able to be memorable. And the entire world was just, oh my God.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. I only had it slightly above Final Fantasy VII Remake. I don't care if people said it's a remake. It's different from the original. It's a different game. It deserves its place there, but Tsushima just slightly above, just above.
Yeah. And Sheldon, what did you think?
Well, Last of Us, I just think the whole thing was staged. They just started winning awards, and they were just like, okay,
my gosh,
it's gonna win. It's gonna be like how Red Dead was. It's gonna be
my gosh,
how
it was still a good game. It was still a good game. Like it deserves.
It basically made every game just like, no contest. Last of Us has it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people. Yeah, and a lot of people were just waiting for the game in general because like the fan base was so huge. So I understand why they got Game of the Year. So it makes sense in that department. But yeah, at the end of the day, the win was well deserved. But a lot of people were writing on Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah,
that game was beautiful.
Yeah, I was really hoping for that game to win because like Sucker Punch, like I don't know where the hell that game even came from. Like it's from Infamous to Ghost of Tsushima. It's like, where? How? It's the same thing like I said in the other video before. Like Horizon Zero Dawn like came out of nowhere. Was not expected. And then it just blew me out of the water. Like me and Malcolm are like obsessed with that game. Can't wait for the sequel to come out. And Ghost of Tsushima, that came out with a free DLC multiplayer. That's like the very day that game got announced. I'm like, man, if this game has any sort of multiplayer, that's it. It's my game of the year for sure. For sure.
Free.
And it's free. And you get to play a lot. You get to play a lot in it too. A lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, like again, Ghost of Tsushima was definitely a well-deserved nominee to be in that category. I just think, again, Last of Us Part 2, it really ran away with a lot of awards, regardless of Game of the Year, which
was a movie
award. But yeah, no, it's just Naughty Dog is just doing so many things right, and I get like how people feel about certain characters, but that just lends to the writing, in my opinion. It's like you can kind of mask it as controversy, but I think like they made you feel.
No, the game was still good regardless. It was a beautifully written story, very ambitious game, and like it deserves all the praise that it can get. I'm obviously sad that the underdog didn't take it, but it was definitely well deserved regardless.
No, most definitely. And then the best game direction.
Best game direction.
I think that's what kind of what you guys are saying with the studio as a whole. It's like I think like it's coming from somewhere like you just didn't think would take it. So my money was actually on Sucker Punch taking and with Ghost of Tsushima with that.
At least, yeah. But Naughty Dog took it again.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know what? Just the fact that all these games got nominated like several times, especially Hades. Oh my God, Hades!
Yeah.
That game. Where did that game come from? Another game that just came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really good.
And it was
Really
good
nice.
for big publishers to drop them,
I've-
put them on their platform, and like actually market Hades.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like, here's
Yeah,
an indie studio.
Yeah, I still haven't. Has any of you guys played it yet? I haven't played it. I still need to play it. I've been slacking.
No, the only reason I haven't played
What, the
Hades
Hades
is
game?
because it's not. If it was on PS4, I would have gotten it. I was too busy still playing on Ghost of Tsushima DLC
Mhm.
Yeah.
to jump into Hades, because I haven't played a game on my Switch in like all year, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah.
The
Which is
game,
fair.
it's beautiful. The art style is beautiful. The voice acting, every single person is voiced, and it makes me mad because of Pokemon. That Pokemon game can have voice acting, but this indie game can.
Yeah.
And
Don't even get me started.
the game style, it's like fun. You run around and you can do action combat type of thing, but it's top down like what am I thinking of? XCOM, kind of like XCOM, but you have free movement.
Mhm.
And it's great that it got nominated for Game of the Year, because it shows that not all indie games are just like some random mobile games
No,
that people
they're
think
just as
are good.
valuable. Yeah, they're just as
Exactly.
valuable.
Because small publishers have just as much of a place as big AAAs, and we know how
No doubt.
big AAA ones are messing up lately. I think we're gonna talk about Cyberpunk, but Hades
Yeah.
deserves that love right there. I'm glad they got
Yeah.
a couple of small awards.
Even the animation, like the lead up animation into you playing the game, I'm like, can they make a freaking anime or something out of this, please? Like, I couldn't believe the animation. I'm a sucker for anime. I seen that. I was like, if they don't make a show out of this, I'm actually gonna
Easy.
go and fund it myself.
Free money.
I know,
Free.
right? That's the one thing, even though kind of going off topic, but that's the one thing they're doing with Ark that I really like. That when they revealed Ark, how they're giving.
Oh,
it
we're
a
gonna talk
anime
about
series.
Ark. No, we gonna
Oh
talk
my
about
God.
Ark. We gonna talk about Ark. I have things about that.
Yeah, we'll
When-
get
when
to
we
that.
say- We'll talk about Ark.
We'll get to that. So next on the list we have most anticipated game, which the Elden Ring won. I don't even know how that game won anything. Still don't even know what this game is. We saw like what was it, like a 1-minute trailer of like a figure, and then that was it. Most anticipated game of the year somehow. Like
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe it still, because every single like award show or like Tokyo Game Show or Game Awards or E3 type of thing, everyone on Twitter is always like Elden Ring, because it's from software and it's Lord of the Rings. To have
Yeah.
those two things merge,
yeah,
that would be a big deal. Like,
No,
I'm not a
hype-
huge Lord of the Rings guy, but I understand the big impact that whole franchise has, and for a
It
game
makes
like
sense.
that,
yeah.
so I'm not surprised. I thought
Yeah.
God of War would have won, but I'm not
Yeah,
surprised.
for
they
sure. But you know what? Front Software usually brings out good games, and just all the elements that they're putting together to make this game. I mean, the hype is deserved. Like, the only reason why I'm kind of voting against it and picking God of War is because God of War, we know what the game is. We know what to expect from the game, and we have hopes of like what
Boy.
the next game could be. Whereas Elden Ring, it's like we don't know.
I think like in the polls, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel is actually second, but like that just goes to show you, like, that was 3 years ago and people still remember how Legend of Zelda was taken. It's like it's still paving the way, like Genshin Impact. Like there's so many Breath of the Wild lookalikes now, and it's like people are like, where is this drawing from? What inspiration is this coming from? And I think Breath of the Wild is a lot to thank for that. So I was actually shocked it didn't take that category, but kudos to Elden Ring. Like everything else there is going to be a good game, hopefully.
Going off of what you said about Genshin, and there's also the Immortal Phoenix Rising that
Yep.
has that Breath of the Wild type aesthetic, and
100%.
even though it's by Ubisoft, unlike Valhalla and Watch Dogs 3, Watch Dogs 3 has been below average. Valhalla's like, I've seen good reception. Immortal Phoenix Rising, because it's a game made by it seems like the developers wanted to make it. It's been getting a lot of praise, like a lot of, even though it looks like Breath of the Wild and Genshin, it holds its own. It has funny dialogue and shit, and like it's underrated. It shouldn't be slept on. So like, if you want something to try, like I would say Immortal Phoenix Rise, but yeah, Breath of the Wild is obviously gonna be
Breath of the
Nintendo's.
Wild is really beautiful. To be honest, I don't know why was it teased as a nominee if they weren't gonna tease the game. Just saying though.
I agree.
we
I would
so.
love to see from Elden Ring, but we didn't. It was just like, okay, look forward to it sometime
Yeah,
next year.
and you know what it is? It's gonna be another Cyberpunk where it's all hype until we finally get some gameplay, and then we're like, wait a second, this game is not meant for consoles, obviously. Yeah, sorry.
It's definitely going to be an ambitious title. That's what Spencer
I
thinks.
hope it doesn't fall into that Cyberpunk trap because it's happened too many times, and I seen it coming too. I was like,
I'm
this
scared.
game's
I'm
gonna be
low-key
all
scared.
hype, and then it's gonna come out, and what happened? So it is what it is.
You can
that's
trust
all-
the devs though. From Software,
No, they usually deliver. Like, I mean, look at what they did with freaking it's Demon Souls from
Demon
Software,
Souls,
right?
I believe.
Yeah,
That's breathtaking.
Like that's a definition of a remake if I ever seen, or a remake,
That
whatever the
shit
hell
is
you want to call it.
beautiful,
That's the
bro.
definition.
I'm low key scared for that game though. Cyberpunk, I'm low key scared. I want it to be good. Like I want it to be.
It is good. Like I've been playing it on PC and it runs well. It's just not meant for console.
Wait,
It's never
it's
meant
out
for
on
console.
Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Right.
it was never meant for consoles.
The game itself, what I'm getting, the game itself is good. It's not gonna be like the greatest RPG ever made.
Oh no.
It's
no.
good. It has good side stories, and
It's
it
the
can
world.
be fun. Yes,
It's the
the
world.
world that they built.
That's
but
what sells the
obviously,
game.
I can't
After
play it. It
cop-
looks like shit on my PS.
And I'm
after
playing
cop
it.
now.
I'm not even playing the game at full power. My PC's like barely alive playing this game. And I'm playing it, I'm like, oh, all this untapped potential.
I
I'm looking
think
at
you go to
all the
OP.
settings. All my settings are on low, medium. just to run.
Wow. Why
And
is
I'm
it
like,
low
oh my
res-
god. Yeah, I know. My PC, even our other buddy there, like he's got like, I thought his PC would have been well good enough to run that game, and even him, he's like, wow, like this game is very demanding. It's a very demanding game, unfortunately. So that kind of
It's like that high tier girlfriend, bro. Like if you find that girl that's like, California, go to the mall
California.
and buy those expensive shoes. That's what Cyberpunk is.
Yeah,
No McDonald's with Cyberpunk.
McDonald's. That's good.
You need Ethernet, no Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
100%.
All right, so we're gonna move over to best narrative, which of course Last of Us won that. Again, well deserved. I thought that Final Fantasy VII Remake still had a pretty good retelling of the
Right.
story. They did a pretty good job, not only introducing people to that game who was living under a rock and haven't played it, or was just born yesterday. And it's only part one. Like part one alone, I'm like, I'm ready. I'm kind of glad. At first, I was like, part one. I don't know if I like that. I like looking forward to a new Final Fantasy game every 25 years. Hopefully, I'm still alive by the time it's complete.
Hey,
Or
we
they
got
yell
that
at-
in FF16.
Like,
FF16.
you know what? It's a good marketing strategy. I know some people don't agree, but I like the fact that I'm looking forward to a new part every X amount of years because I can never get sick of that series. I can never get sick of that installment in the series.
It's the best one,
What more can a fan really ask for? Because Kingdom Hearts has kind of been disappointing me recently. So
That
you
is.
know, at least I have something I can look forward to and enjoy. I don't know what you guys think.
I'll let
I love
Tim,
Final Fantasy.
I'll let
Final
Tim go
Fantasy
off
won
on Last of
It
Us
should've
because
won
that's his
that.
game.
that. Speaking of Final Fantasy, Sephiroth in Smash, bro.
Oh my gosh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. Just to kind of go off what Shamar was saying, I think Final Fantasy VII is always going to get hurt by nominees just because it is segmented. But honestly, it's still obviously a very solid game, deserves the praise that it definitely got. It still won Best RPG Game, which is definitely well deserved. But unfortunately, when it comes to game of the year, I think people will always use that knock of being like, oh, it's not a full game. Just like how we kind of mentioned in our previous video.
Yeah. But again, Hades is on this list. Like,
Best
I
action game.
don't even know what the story is. I'm reading it now. The story is, as the immortal prince of the underworld, you'll wield the powers and mythic weapons of Olympus to break free from the clutches of the god of death himself, while growing stronger and unraveling more of the story with each unique escape attempt.
Yeah, no, it definitely has a good story. It won best action game, best indie game. Again, wasn't really surprised about best indie game, but just like best action game, like outbeating
Yeah.
Infernal. I think that was the biggest shock from any of the categories for me, because like for most of them, like it wasn't really a surprise when someone or a game took an award, but I think that one really took me.
Interesting. Very interesting. So hopefully they come out with a sequel then. If the first one did that good, like I hope they have some kind of sequel coming out with that.
It would push those devs to either make a sequel or another type of game in that style.
If these indie games should be doing anything to AAA studios, should be pushing them to be better, because like it's crazy how these indie games are coming out of nowhere and actually putting up the AAA titles up against the ropes. And it's like, you know, don't sleep on the indie developers, because they know what we want and they know how to make a game that sells, clearly.
Yeah, there are big names on that action game. Doom Eternal, Neo 2, the first one was like so loved, and then Neo 2 came out like, when did Neo 2 come out? Like in March or February? Like
It was
so
like
early.
March. Yeah.
But I think it's like recency bias, because even the Half-Life game, people adored that Half-Life game. Like, you know, the memes with Half-Life 3 taking like to come up, but like for that, and Half-Life Alyx is VR, so that's a good push for VR. And Streets of Rage 4, we played that. I love Streets of Rage 4. That was a fun like return for a classic series, but it wasn't gonna be big. I'm glad that it was on this list, though, to just be honest. But for Hades, for those for the names that it topped, that's like a real big thing for indie developers.
I'll take it.
We all know how big Doom is, and it's a shame Doom didn't win anything, because I also saw that it was like its anniversary, so that's kind of, it's a shame, but it's still loved by all its fans.
That's kind of sus how Doom didn't win anything, and it was on.
I'm surprised it didn't win even best shooter or anything like that. didn't win a damn thing, but you know, it is what it is. Best score in music, I mean, come on. Who else is winning that?
Yeah,
come on. Come on. If that game did not win, it better have been Last of Us. Like I guess. Like I don't really know.
Or Doom, honestly. I would go Doom second. Last of Us has good music, but I feel like it's the audio design.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah.
That's the thing. And that's what I told you guys when this came out. Like there's a difference between like audio design and the score and music. The music is like the OST. That's the shit we look up on.
That's true.
Audio design is kind of like, that's why I said like, I wouldn't mind if Last of Us Part 2 won audio design, because I know Last of Us 2 isn't like super trash. It deserves some of the awards. I think audio design it could combat Ghost of Tsushima, because we all know how Ghost of Tsushima with the wind and everything.
The wind and just like the aesthetic of like the
you go in the field and you're riding your horse. And
oh my gosh! Don't even get me started, man. Like low key made me wish I was living in that time, even though I really wouldn't want to live in that time.
Shoot in the head with those arrows, girl.
It wouldn't last.
You're just in the village one time, and then the village is just getting attacked. A field of fire arrows. I'm like, well, it's been fun, guys. You don't want to live in feudal era Japan.
Yeah, honestly. But yeah, that Final Fantasy music though, oh my god, just the menu screen alone, I was sitting there praising the heavens that I was listening to this track all over again remastered. I couldn't believe it.
All you gotta do is turn on the game, go to the title screen, don't touch nothing.
That's all you need. You don't even need to play the game. Just go.
Just do that.
Just sit at the menu screen and stare at that Buster Blade for like 2 hours.
The Buster Blade just in the screen like this.
Take out your holy Bible and start praising.
Buster Blade.
Yeah, one thing Final Fantasy games will always have, like the music will always be on point. That the lady and the guy, like I don't know their names, they're Japanese, but like legends. Like, because I played Final Fantasy 15, I finished it after I did 7, and 15's music, like you can say whatever you want about the game, but 15's music.
I don't even start the game. I sometimes just boot up 15 and just leave it on title screen.
Telling you, bro. But I wanted to ask Tim real quick, like since you played Last of Us, like what would be the reasons why the audio design, like in the game, like how would it make you go like, wow, this is like really good?
Last of Us does a really good job of setting atmosphere. Like even when you walk into like an area where you see clickers, you almost have this like, oh
no, you feel like you're in danger.
Feel like you're in danger. And if you're just in like a sewer, if you're in any situation that like maybe lighting is not on your side, Last of Us does a really good job of like every sound echoing down a hallway, and you're just like, I know where this thing is, but I don't see it. And it's like audio design is like prevalent on pushing things like that.
And I will say, I mean, I could care less who disagrees. Between Resident Evil and Last of Us does a way better job setting up atmosphere, making.
I was gonna mention Resident Evil too, because those are like horror. Well, it has horror elements, and clickers will be running from that. So you gotta know where they are coming from. And
like we've played through 2 and 3, and in comparison to 2 and 3 versus Last of Us 2, Last of Us 2 definitely sets the standard of like making you feel like, okay, I'm in danger. Like, what's that thing looming around the corner? What's over my shoulder? They do a really good job of making you feel like, you know, like I really don't want to be in this situation right now. Like you're
in survival mode.
You're begging to fight the humans. You don't want to fight the fighting the humans is like a breath of fresh air. Put it that way. When you're fighting, the way they set things up. So I hope Capcom takes some notes from the Naughty Dog team when it comes to making this new game, and hopefully, you know, it sets that standard back again.
Yeah, it's funny because they do it in some of their adaptations, like when they do like direct-to-video Resident Evil films, and it's like they know how to set atmosphere. They do. But I just find when it comes to their video games, like they're too focused on maybe the gameplay elements, like how do we make this area fun? How do we make this area going into here? Like they don't set up the scare. They just like, okay, bust through the door and then now the zombies there. But like if you're walking down a corridor and you hear sounds, like even like when back in the day in Resident Evil, it's like you'd hear a licker and you know that sound, and then you would start to get scared. It's like, but where is it? But they don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Because I think like Resident Evil 2 did a good job with all of that, because with all of the memes and everything last year with Mr. What's the guy's name again?
Mr. X.
Yeah, and then there was like some early scary monsters, and because I watch a lot of those Twitch fail videos where people get super scared and stuff. So. But Resident Evil 3 just didn't do it as good as
walking down a hall, you're walking down a hall, and you see something you hear something in the distance, and it's like, and you're like, what is that?
And you know that sound exactly.